Morning guys, what's up? I hope you're having a good day. This has probably been one of the most requested videos that I've had in a very long time, and I think I've actually done it a whole bunch of times, but I never went through the actual products that I use to entirely wash my Ford Falcon. Being a coated car and being sort of the way that it is at the moment, trying to keep it all nice and make sure there's no scratches or swirls in the paint whatsoever, I go through a really I don't use a lot of parts that are on the shelf. However, it sort of can carry over to cars, you know, it sort of can carry over to a lot of cars, you know, if you don't want to scratch it or do anything crazy. So yeah, today I'm going to completely go through, clean the Falcon, maybe even take it for a drive later on, and just show you guys exactly the products I use and what I do to completely clean my Ford Falcon to make it look fresh. And sort of, I do this once a week. I know it's pretty crazy, and one day we'll have no time to do this, but yeah, I'm gonna do it anyway. Now, another thing I really want to do today is I really want to clean the engine bay. Now, before I ever clean the engine bay, I've had issues in the past with doing this sort of stuff, so every single time I do disconnect the negative side of the battery, just so that way I don't sort of do anything. And then once I finish, I close the bonnet, clean the rest of the car, that way all the stuff in the engine bay is all dry, and then we are good to go. You know your life's sad when you have more products to wash your car than you do yourself. Alright, so right here lined up in front of me is every single product and every single tool I use to wash my car. And starting off with the wheel cleaner. So this right here is Purge. Now, Flash Detailing actually recommended me this wheel cleaner here. It is absolutely incredible. Basically, it works like a deionizer where it just takes off all the dust, turns it purple, strips everything off, and it's just, oh, it's perfect. Next up, I snow foam the entire car. And what this does is it breaks up all the little bits of dirt on the very top, and then you don't touch this layer at all with any wool mitts or anything whatsoever. You simply let it sit there for around about 5 to 10 minutes and then rinse it off, and it gets rid of all the large dirt particles. I then put 2 drops of this into a large bucket, which we'll get to very soon. And this is CarPro Reset. So this is great for coated cars. It just works the same as regular soap, but it's pH neutral, so this works great. I then go over the top and coat the coating with Alexa. This is CarPro Alexa, and basically it's like a quick detailer. It goes over the very top, makes it all nice and smooth and ready to go for the next time you wash the car. Whilst washing the car, I use 2 massive big Bowden's buckets. The only thing is I do not have any of the grit guards in there, but I do want to get some eventually. But yeah, one is for rinse and one is for wash. Alright, and then here I use the Karcher K3 as well. This has been great. It's lasted me for, I don't know how long now, probably, I don't know, a good year and a half or so now, but this thing has been absolutely excellent. It comes with all the attachments I could possibly want, and yeah, it's a great little gurney. Rightio, and as for the interior, I actually use these 4 products right here. Now, these 3 actually use on the plastics and everything. The natural shine protectant I use on the doors, however, you don't want a really shiny dash, otherwise the sun will reflect off it and get in your eyes and it just looks disgusting. That's where I use Bowden's Vinyl Care. So Vinyl Care goes on the top of all the plastics. It's not as shiny, which is the best thing about it, and it looks really great on dashes, leaves like a nice natural sort of matte finish to it. It doesn't clean as well as the natural shine, so if there's any like scuff marks or anything, I usually get it out with that. But yeah, Vinyl Care by Bowden's is brilliant. When it's dusty, that's all I use. And the Lazy Wax, a lot of people would use for the outside of the car, but I actually use it on the interior. If you guys remember, I actually have painted centerpieces as well, and the Lazy Wax is actually great for the black plastics there. It doesn't leave streaks or anything crazy, and it leaves a nice protective finish on it, so hopefully stop scratching. And I use a brand new microfiber every single time I touch those painted bits, because piano black looks terrible when it's actually scratched. And of course, I use a Bowden's Naked Glass. Now, I do use this or Meguiar's. Both of them are great, but Meguiar's does smell a hell of a lot better. It smells like bubblegum. But yeah, that's completely fine. And before I go any further, this is basically all I use to wash the entire car. So first of all, use a wool mitt. I was recommended to these by Cody. As long as they're nice and clean, they do not scratch the entire car and they wash great. And then I dry it up with this right here. This is a Tempest microfiber towel. Now, all of this stuff here you can pretty much find at Wax at Car Care, which is where I get most of my products from. And then I also use these yellow microfibers everywhere I can. These right here are a set of 36 you get from Costco. The best microfibers you can get, and literally there's just so many of them. So pretty much anytime I need to actually do something on my car, when it's touching paint, I get a brand new microfiber. So the Elixir that I showed you before, brand new microfiber. The interior dash plastics and everything, brand new microfiber then to make sure you're not scratching anything. I'm so goddamn anal about this car right here. It's why it looks so perfect, and I love it. Rightio, so let's get to the engine bay. Alright, so what I do here is super straightforward. Go over and rinse everything off, gets rid of all the massive bits of dust and everything. Go over with a light thing of snow foam, and then I wipe everything down with a brand new microfiber, and rinse that all down, and then let it dry as much as it possibly can. And when we dry the rest of the car, we'll come along and we'll dry the engine bay too. Alrighty guys, so this right here is Purge. Now this is the best wheel cleaner that I've ever been able to find on the market. Get it from Wax at Car Care, and it is just, it is the best. So I'm going to quickly spray these wheels down. What it's going to do, it's going to strip all that dust and debris off, and then leave me with a nice clean wheel. You don't have to touch it. Sometimes you can use like a small little detailing brush and get in everywhere, but I find that this just strips off everything that I could possibly need to. And then once every 6 months or so, I take all the wheels off, give them a proper like brush around and everything, and that seems to clean them up really nicely. So yeah, let's hit it with some of this. Now this stuff smells like crazy. However, I'm gonna leave you guys on a time lapse right now. You can see everything starting to turn purple. It's gonna look so sick. And yeah, it's this is the best wheel cleaner ever. Alright, so now you can see everything turn this crazy purple color. So now what we're gonna do, we're gonna rinse it off with the pressure washer, and I'm gonna show you guys how they look, because these look so good. There you have it. Look at the difference. Massive. I'm going to go around to the rest of these wheels and we'll get to snow foaming. Alright, so I'm not going to lie, I did spend a little bit of extra time because I did have a little bit of rubber build up on the back of the guards here, but I managed to get that all sorted. What I did was, they were starting to come off in massive chunks, but I just couldn't get the little bits off, so I ended up just dousing it in brake cleaner and throttle body cleaner, and it literally lifted straight up. Just melted down that plastic enough just to get it off. Didn't leave it on there for long, but yeah, it came up really nice. Rightio, now for snow foam. This is the most satisfying bit of the whole car. Right, so while the car is like sunbaking in this in the snow foam right here, I know you shouldn't wash cars in direct sunlight, but I didn't have any other time to film this video. Yeah, gonna grab these 2 buckets, give them a quick rinse out because there is some residual dirt stuck in the bottom there. Fill one up with 2 caps of Reset, and then fill the other one up with straight water, and then we should be good. Rightio, so 1 bucket is gonna get 2 capfuls of Reset. So we have a rinse bucket, rightio, and fill up the one with Reset. Okay, so by the time I fill those 2 things up, usually the car's pretty good to get washed off. So let's go over right now, gunning all that off, and then we can start lathering on panel by panel some Reset. Alright, so this I will admit is the part that I never put in the videos whatsoever because it is literally so boring. But that is hand washing every single bit of this car, panel by panel, rinsing off, refoaming, and doing all that sort of stuff, top to bottom. It is the most annoying thing in the history of the world, but it has to be done to make sure that everything is not going to get scrapped. So starting at the roof, working my way down, doing half the roof, the other half, one half of the bonnet, the other half, the boot, then working my way down, doing all the quarters all the way around, and then doing the front bar, rear bar, and then side skirts, and then she is all good to get rinsed off and dried. So let's go do that right now. And then once again, rinse off. Alrighty guys, so as you can see, I know the lighting's a little bit screwed up at the moment, but you can see that this car beats like crazy. Like, look at this. It's so cool. It's so wicked. So good. Okay, so now what I use is a Tempest microfiber towel. Now I get these off Wax at Car Care. They're about $17 and I use them for around about 6 months, but you can use them after those 6 months if you wash it every single time you wash the car, because you do not want to get dust or anything or rocks or anything in this. Do not use it for anything else apart from drying. What you do, chuck it in the wash for a regular cycle just by itself, nothing else, and then put it straight in the dryer too, and that fluffens it all up and it makes it so amazing. And these things here make drying so easy and they do not scratch the car at all. So anyway, let's quickly dry the car. Now it's gonna be boring, but yeah, you guys will enjoy it. Rightio, so I was taught this method of washing my car by Cody at Flash Detailing. Now he was the one that spent, I think, 30 plus hours detailing my car, going over the paint and doing a full paint correction on this thing. It was pretty bad, I must admit. The car did have some really bad stud fading areas, but it wasn't overly disgusting. But yeah, my car has been absolutely flawless ever since. We did 4 layers of IGL coating. It cost me around about 1.6 grand. And so taking a little bit of extra time and making sure you're getting the right products and making sure you're doing the right method is definitely a sure way to make sure that you're keeping your car nice. And as you can see, the car has no blemishes whatsoever. This paint is honestly perfect. So when you're washing your car, all you want to do is, the reason that I do sort of like the snow foam and then go over 2 bucket method and everything, the idea of what you want to do is to eliminate as much as you can as possible without touching it. That's the whole reason you go the snow foam first, let it sit there, bring everything to the surface and then pull it all off. And then that is when you start touching the paint. The 2 bucket method, obviously when you put your mitt inside the rinse bucket, you get rid of all those particles off your wash mitt, or as much as you possibly can, put it back into the soap bucket and then go over your paint. But the idea is to not push at all. You want it to glide straight over the paint, and same with the drying. You literally do not want to force any pressure on anything onto your paint because you will scratch it. Paint is super fragile, and you do not want to force or push anything onto your paint, because even microfiber, if you force it, will literally scratch your paint. So the idea is just to be as gentle as humanly possible on your paint. Alright, so now what I'm going to do, after dropping all my keys, is grab a brand new microfiber, and I'm going to be using this to apply the Alexa. As with all microfiber products, remove the tags before you do anything. And now we're going to be applying Alexa over the entire car. So what we're going to do, first we're going to mist up the microfiber. And now what this is it's a high gloss quick detailer. So it's just going to go over the paint, protect it until the next wash, make it all nice and slippery, and also very, very, very hydrophobic. So we're just going to apply this on the paint, light sprays, and then wipe it straight in. And then also buff it off with the other side of the pad. One thing about green cars is I hate the fact that bugs end up on it every single time. It is so goddamn annoying. The best thing is because it's so shiny, they literally cannot walk on it. Oh, another thing as well I forgot to add, when you're doing anything whilst touching the paint, you always want to do big, long, even strokes, because you do not want to be like, rubbing it in and swirling it all up. If you do get any scratches, it's just going to be straight up, straight down, and you will barely notice it. That's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is you'll barely notice it, but also it just reduces the risk of putting horrible scratches in your paint. Alright, so now that I've done the complete outside of the exterior, I'm going to use the same microfiber that we just used for the coating, flip it inside out, and then use that same one to dry over the entire engine bay. And then this one here, I'll pretty much wash, use it for the interior, and then I'll throw it out. This is a sign that a good time was had. Right, so car is back in the garage at the moment. Now we're gonna get stuck on the interior. Now I've already gone ahead and vacuumed the floors, so now what we're gonna get to is the vinyls and plastics. Alright, so now I'm gonna show you guys these three products here and why I use them for the interior. So this Natural Shine by Meguiar's here, it's a really good cleaning agent and it also leaves like a shiny-ish finish. I don't believe it has any silicone in it. It's supposed to be a non-greasy formula and it shines and protects. Now with an interior or a brand new interior, you don't want stuff shiny. However, it does clean great. If you guys can kind of see on my interior right now, there's a tiny little scuff mark right there from probably my shoe or something hitting. I'll use this product right here, basically spray it on the area, and then I'll wipe that area down with a washed microfiber cloth. And as you can see, no more scuff mark. However, it does leave your interior shiny, which is what I do not like. And that's where Bowden's Vinyl Care comes in. This stuff here I don't find cleans anywhere near as good as the Meguiar's one. However, it does leave a low shine finish. So this is what I use for the dashboard and it doesn't get scuffed up as much. Right, so my dashboard here looks super nice. I'm not gonna end up cleaning the entire interior because literally it does look great in here in the moment. However, you guys can kind of see there's a little bit of dust over it. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use Vinyl Care right here. Make sure not to get it on the windscreen and basically spray it straight down. Now this product goes a long way. So what you gotta do, grab a washed microfiber cloth, basically just go over it and make sure that there's no streaks in it because this product will go shiny if it does streak and does get built up in some area. And look at that, no more dust and there is absolutely no shine to that dash whatsoever. It looks brilliant. Now for this next product right here, I'm once again gonna need a brand new microfiber cloth. Now, if you guys remember a few months ago when I was working at Fixer Room, we actually did the interior of this car and it looks brilliant. I ended up getting basically a different surround, ended up painting my push start button and also the gear selector surround, all in this really deep piano black. Now, we actually painted this at work and it looks phenomenal. However, I know for a fact that it's soft as hell and I do not want it to get scratched. That is why every time I do these interior trims, I use a brand new microfiber and once again, rip off the tag like that. I also make sure that I get as much dust away as possible. And this right here is Bowden's Lazy Wax. This leaves a really low shine finish, it doesn't leave any streaking, and it also protects the paint from anyone that might touch it, plus sun, plus everything else as well. So what I do is I do like a really light mist on that there. Do a really light mist there, and a really light mist down there. It also makes your interior smell like bananas. And you just wipe it straight across, because if you end up going like that in circles, just like the exterior paint, it's also going to swirl up, catch some dust at some point, and then just basically rip your interior straight apart. Also down here as well, being super careful not to grab any bits of dirt around the shifter. And then I come back with the other side and basically just give it another once over. Just like that. And you guys can see for a bit of paint, it comes up super nice. It looks absolutely amazing. Now I also use wax on these dash pieces right here. Basically from Ford, these here are a G6E or an XR50 or something limited edition dash spear. They're pretty rare and they also get scratched super easy. They're basically just hydro dipped. If you can see the back of them, you can see the outside of where the hydro dip is. Once again, grab my spray wax, light mist over that, brand new microfiber, and just go over that one piece right there. And you're done. Once again, it's got no streaks in it whatsoever, and those tiny little sort of swirl marks you can see is just people from overtime touching it. I did polish these up, but yeah, unfortunately didn't do a very good job. They do have swirls in them, but it's not really noticeable. And if you can kind of see, the swirl marks only go in one single direction. And this is because a lot of people, when these get dusty, go, oh yeah, I'm just gonna clean that and just wipe it back and forward with their hand. And I cringe every single time, but I just can't tell people. Sarah knows about it all too much, and so does my sister and my mum. Both of them did it, and I got up them both. And now they think it's a joke to do it, and it's not a joke. I hate it. Right here, so this next tip right here is glass. I cannot stand people that have dirty glass on their cars. Inside and outside needs to be cleaned every single time you do your car. For this, I use Bowden's Naked Glass, but I also use Meguiar's Glass Cleaner. Meguiar's Glass Cleaner is absolutely amazing and it smells like berries. However, this one here was more cheaper at the time, so I ended up getting that. Pretty much all glass cleaner is going to be fairly much the same if you get Bowden's, Meguiar's, or Autoglim. It's all going to be very, very similar. So what are you going to do? Once again, brand new microfiber. I also spray the microfiber once, but yeah, all you have to do, literally, helps if you turn it off. One single spray over the glass, and then with your clean microfiber, straight back and forward. And a good glass cleaner will evaporate to the point where you start wiping at nothing, and that's when you know your glass is clean. Now what I do for the outside of the glass is I go straight back and forward, and also on the front windscreen I go straight up and down, because when you jump inside the car, what you can do is you can go up and down, and then on the front windscreen you go side to side, and that way you know which side of your glass is dirty if you leave streaks on it. Now the biggest tip that I can give you, especially when cleaning glass, and I know a lot of you guys are gonna go, but why do you need new microfiber every single time you basically touch a glossy part of your car? This paint here is fragile. If you do not use a clean microfiber and it's sort of like, it has tiny little bits of dirt in it, that is gonna cause swirl marks. You don't wanna do that to your paint. As for the interior and why I use that wax and a brand new microfiber again, is so I do not leave scratches in that really, really soft gloss black paint, because it scratches like no tomorrow. It's super easy to scratch, and I don't want to repaint that section or buff it again because it takes so long to pull out of that interior. Now glass is super, super hard, so why do you need a brand new microfiber? And that is because on this side here, this is not glass, this is tint. If you use a dirty microfiber to go over your tint, you will end up putting scratches all through your tint, and trust me, it makes it look terrible. And especially if you went down the same route as me and went with ceramic tint all the way around, this stuff is expensive and you do not want to have to replace this tint. I also have ceramic tint on my windscreen. Trust me, it is the best thing that you will ever do. However, you have to be super, super, super careful about washing the inside of your windscreen. What I normally do with the glass around the entire car is I do the back of the windscreen first, and then I do the front two doors, and then the rear glass, and then the back two doors, and then pretty much go around the outside and do whatever. Glass won't scratch anywhere near as easily as paint or tint. That's why the outside of the glass I do last. Basically, when I've done the entire car, I do the glass last. So now the last little bit that I do is I put on some tire coating. What this is gonna do is basically make your tires look black, and the most underrated thing you can do on a car is make the black things look black, because it'll make the colored things stand out like no tomorrow. What I do is grab one of these applicator pads. It's basically just a little thing with foam on the end of it. Grab the tire shine, and this stuff here, I have no idea what brand it is. However, it is super, super, super terrible to work with. I absolutely hate this stuff, and I basically got it from when I used to run my detailing business. So, decent amount of tire shine on that, and just run it all the way around the tire, running back and forward. I definitely have to raise my car. It's too low. God damn it. Now some cars look great with just the tire shine on glossy. My car, on the other hand, what I like to do is I like to run a microfiber, a obviously really dirty one, around the outside of the tire, and what that's going to do is that's going to take off this sheen on the top. Now another thing that these also do, because my tire sits outside the guard, it flicks up tire shine on the side panels of the car. And it sucks because you don't have to go fast at all, literally 40 k's an hour, and your car looks terrible. So I'm going to let that set on there for around about 10-15 minutes, and then I'll come back, wipe it all off, and that way it'll sort of give me a really nice sheen over the tire, but not glossy. So yeah, as you guys can see, the glossy tire really just, I don't know, it just doesn't suit my car in the slightest. So I grab an old microfiber, basically go over the tire once again, just trying to get rid of all that horrible shiny silicone. I'm pretty sure that's what this tire shine is. It's just a silicone tire shine. It's bloody terrible stuff. And you guys can kind of see, leaves like a really nice sheen to it and looks great against the car. And the tires look great. Here's a before and there's an after. Nice. But there you have it, guys. Hopefully a pretty quick video to give you guys a good idea as to how I wash my car and how I go about making sure that it looks perfect at least once a week. Trust me, it'll be dusty tomorrow. I won't be happy with it. I'll probably wash it again in probably 3 or 4 days. So, yeah, I absolutely love it. Another reason why I chose this car, just being the color. Literally, I don't think I could have another XR6 Turbo in a different color. I mean, there are some nice colors out there, but Breeze, for me, is just... it just looks insane. And trust me, on camera, this looks light blue. I can never get good color correction with this car. Like, literally, it makes everything else look stupid. I'll see if I can do it right now. Yeah, it kind of looks a little bit like that. But yeah, this thing looks awesome. I love this car. Looks so good. I just need a bigger garage now.